there's a fine line, I think, sometimes between being empathetic and supportive and being enabling. So I wonder if you want to dive in a little deeper on that.
Yeah, I think it's a great and complex topic for sure.
Right, right.
I think the first part is just to recognize like that struggle is normal and expected. And I mean, of course, like you care about this person, so of course you're going to want to help them, right? I mean, how could you not? That's just how we're built as humans. Um, and and then I think, it really comes down to thinking about you and your personal boundaries and your own lines and where they are. Um, and I think those can change over time, and it can be, I always say it's almost like a draft document, right? Like it's not something set in stone. It can change. You can go back to the drawing board and say, oh wait, actually this is too much for me. I want to switch this to this. But really have to figure out what you're comfortable with, what you're super uncomfortable with, and what you're slightly uncomfortable with, right? I mean, there's going to be some discomfort. We know this. So we don't want to say, well, I'm drawing the line at discomfort because then, I mean, honestly, then you can't have a relationship with anyone. Just as humans, we disagree, we're uncomfortable sometimes. It's not always good. We have to tolerate a little bit of discomfort. Um, but we do want to think about what is too much, what crosses a line. So, like me, for example, I know that I have a tendency to yell and get really, really angry. My pattern that I developed from childhood was, well, it's not okay to have feelings. It's not okay to be sad or feel hurt, but it's super okay to yell and throw things and be angry. That's the home I grew up in. So for me, that became my big issue as an adult. I went to anger and irritability right away, because that was just the more comfortable emotion rather than sadness. Um, so, I've done a lot of work and I'm a lot better, but still it's something that can come up. So like I have a rule with my husband. I say to him, if we're arguing and things are escalating and I tell you I need a break, that's me catching myself before I reach max level and start yelling. He doesn't like it when I yell. I get that. That's fair. And if you don't want me to yell, like when I say I need a break, that has to be honored. Like that's a non-negotiable for me. We can come back to it later when we're both calmer. I'm not saying we're not going to resolve it. It's just I need a break in this moment. Um, and so and it took a lot of trial and error for me to get there and to try to figure out, okay, where is this point before I boil over, where I can notice I'm getting there. I need to cool off and I need a minute. Um, so yeah, when it comes to finding those lines, I think it just takes some trial and error, which, sucks. Like, let's be real. Like, it's not fun. I get that. The process can be frustrating until you figure out where your lines are, but it's absolutely worth it because once you figure it out, it's like, yes, okay, I got this. I have a little blueprint. I can use this now. Um, so I think when it comes to this line between empathy and enabling, it's really about figuring out where those lines are for you and just being okay with playing around with it.